ग्लोबल स्किल डेवलपमेंट मिशन में आपका स्वागत है।
This lesson, I think, is going to be one of the most important in the entire course because it's really going to help you work inside Photoshop more efficiently, getting around inside your images, navigating within your projects. So there's lots that I want to show you here. I'm sure you're going to want to take lots of notes here. What we need to get ourselves started is an image to work on. So I'm going to double click on my gray background and I'm going to use fishbowl.psd. Go ahead and pop this guy open inside Photoshop. There we go, something like this, okay? All right, we have this guy opened inside Photoshop. Now, what if I want to zoom in and out on this guy? What if I want to navigate around inside this guy? Well, there's a variety of methods, a variety of approaches to achieving this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head down towards the bottom of my toolbox, and I'm going to grab this fella here, the zoom tool. You can tap your Z key on your keyboard if you want. Notice my cursor changes to a magnifying glass tool with a plus inside of them. The plus indicating that if I single click with my mouse, I can start to zoom in on my image. And as a matter of fact, I can zoom way in on my image, something like this. Notice how we get this mosaic pattern. These are the pixels inside of our image, okay? Now I can continue zooming in on my image. Eventually I'm going to hit the maximum zoom here, which is 3200%. Now how the heck do I get back out? Well, try this. Try holding down Option on your keyboard or Alt on your keyboard. If you're on the Mac side, hold down Option. If you're on the Windows side, hold down Alt. Notice the plus inside my cursor now changes to a minus, and I can now zoom out on my image like so. Okay, in fact, I can zoom quite a ways out on my image, something like this, okay? As soon as I let go of Alt or Option on my keyboard, my cursor changes back to the zoom in tool, okay? So it's sort of like having two tools built into one just by throwing in Alt or Option, okay? Now the other thing that you can do is you can click and drag with this tool, something like this. So you can either single click with the tool, like this, or you can click and drag with the tool. When you're clicking and dragging, for instance, down and towards the right, I'm zooming in. If I click and drag, let's see here, upwards and to the left or right, there we go, I can start to zoom out on this guy. It takes a little bit of getting used to, okay? Something like that. But you know what? This is all fine and well, but I actually have another method for zooming that I prefer. Give this a try. I'm going to tap the V key on my keyboard. That takes me back to the Move tool, way up towards the top of my toolbox. And give this a try. Try holding down either Control Spacebar on the Windows side or Command Spacebar on the Mac. And in this particular file, I get some margins appearing here, but I'm really not interested in those. What I am interested in is what happens to my cursor. Notice my cursor changes to the magnifying glass tool, meaning that if I single click with my mouse or click and drag with my mouse, I can zoom in and out on my image. Okay, in this case, a cartoon octopus monster. I'm really not sure what the heck that is. Something that I drew for us to use. Now, what I can also do with Control Spacebar or Command Spacebar being held down is I can throw in Alt on the Windows side or Option on the Mac side to also zoom out if I want to zoom out by single clicking. Okay, this is what's referred to, by the way, as a toggle. What I mean by that is I'm temporarily accessing the zoom tool while I have another tool activated inside the toolbox. This is a really nice, fast way for getting around inside your images. Okay? So there you go. Pretty cool stuff. Now give this a try. Try zooming in on your image to some degree. Something like this would be perfectly fine. Something like that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to the hand tool at the bottom of the toolbox, just above the zoom tool. What the hand tool will allow me to do is move around inside the image, upwards, downwards, to the right, to the left, something like this. This would be the same as using my scroll bars inside the actual window interface, something like this. So I can pan around inside my image, look at what I have here. Maybe this is a photograph that I'm doing some touch-up on, or perhaps I'm coloring in this cartoon, something like this. Okay? Now, give this a try. Tap your V key on your keyboard one more time, back to the Move tool, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily access my hand tool by holding down just the space bar on my keyboard. This will allow me to pan around inside my image, something like this. As soon as I let go of the space bar, I'm back in this case, onto my move tool or whatever other tool I had previously activated inside the toolbox. So there you go, another toggle for you. Okay? So there you go. I mean, we could leave it at this. There's more than enough for you to get around inside your images. But of course, I got to throw a few other things at you here. Do you like your keyboard shortcuts? I think I've asked you this already once or twice. Try this. Try using Control or Command minus on your keyboard or plus on your keyboard to zoom out and zoom in respectively, like so. Okay? Or you could try this. Try hitting Control or Command 0 on your keyboard to fit the image into your window. Or try this, Control or Command 1 on your keyboard. And what that will do is that will zoom your image to 100%. How do I know I'm at 100%? Bottom left corner, right down here, 100%, right there. As a matter of fact, what I could do, I suppose, is I could say, hey, let's zoom into 215% or whatever. Type in a value there, hit enter on my keyboard, and zoom into that percentage. Hold down the space bar, pan around to the location that I want to arrive at, and then away I go. Okay, so a lot of times you'll see these different Photoshop users ripping through their work, just zipping along, something like this, moving along, working on whatever it is they're attempting to accomplish, and you're going, man, what the heck is that guy doing? It looks like he's playing piano. It's all these keyboard shortcuts. This is exactly what they're doing. Okay, and you'll find me as we start working our way through the course, I'll be zipping along and I'll go, okay, I'm holding down my space bar and I'm moving around, then I'm zooming out, then I'm zooming to 100% or fitting the image into the window, something like this. Okay? So, if you're a brand new Photoshop user, grab a sticky note, write down these shortcuts on the sticky note, and hang it off the bottom edge of your monitor until they become second nature. And they'll become second nature within a week or two of working inside Photoshop. Okay? So there you go. I want to mention one other quick thing. I mentioned zooming to 100%, Control or Command 1. Why would I want to zoom to 100%? Well, I do a lot of web design work, and I do a lot of web design work inside Photoshop. So if I want to see how this image is going to look inside of a web layout or inside of a web browser, zooming to 100% gives me an idea of what my work is going to look like when it's being viewed inside of a web browser. So there you go. That's why I mentioned that one. All right, so there you go. There's a whole pile of different methods for you for getting around inside your Photoshop projects.